Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Deadly Gaming, our Minecraft series hosted by me, Deadly. And we are doing a little bit of exploring today on this, the day of my birth, the day of the anniversary of my birth, the anniversary. Shut up, Scott. Okay, so we have questions from you guys to answer, and I have updates to give. First, briefly, my demonic skates. I took them into the shop where I purchased them, and the same guy who's really he's the go-to guy as far as I'm concerned for all things hockey equipment related. We're not supposed to be able to see your innards, and I'm not sure if what he did is gonna fix it. I mean, he thought that it was probably because the blade is a little bit too flat, so he sharpened me out more of a rocker, if you will. He rounded out the edges, and and so I guess I play hockey tonight, and well, we'll see if my ears bleed or not. And if they do, I'm sure you'll hear about it, and I'll be taking the skates back to the store on Monday and being like, "Nope, didn't work." But yeah. So hopefully that clears things out. You're gonna have to excuse any little bit of jumpage with regards to the frames because we are rendering new terrain, which is going to cause the odd little bit of lag here and there. Because again, we are on my little baby little laptop. Um, and but that's going to be fixed very soon because, as I mentioned in my vlog, I'm having whoop, almost my little Minecraft life flash before my eyes. As I mentioned, I'm getting my computer built by a guy named Brian, who runs this little computer shop in West Ottawa. And he's running it out of his retirement. He's doing it purely out of interest. And man, he certainly knows what he's talking about. Let me tell you, and he has a lot to talk about. He's a very, oh my God, such just one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. But oh man, he's quite the chatterbox, quite the chatterbox. Me and Russell came with me because I brought him because he's of course my family haggler, as I mentioned. But I mean, there wasn't much to haggle. The guy has so little markup that there wasn't any room to haggle really. I mean, I'm getting a better computer than I would have gotten from Future Shop, and I'm paying the same amount really. So actually a little bit less. Which is just crazy. It's just crazy. I wouldn't get a computer any other way if this goes well. Just getting a little bit of lag, so that'll slow up a bit. But yeah, so if all goes well, I'm gonna get a call from Brian later this week, and then I may even be going in and helping him build the thing, or at least watching him build the thing, which is going to be cool in and of itself. I'll be sure to give you guys a little peek at my computer and my specs and whatnot. When I get the thing, I'll show it off to you guys in a vlog. And then from there, we'll start some new series, some new some series is. And one of the questions that you guys posed was, will you take video game requests? Absolutely. Yeah, but I can't guarantee that you're gonna say it, and I'm gonna be like, yes, I'm gonna play that. But for sure, if you want to see me play a game, bring it up, mention it, and I'll see about. I'll look into the game, and I'll see if I think I'd enjoy it and you'd enjoy it, and if it's a match, it's a match. Um, so feel free to recommend games if you want to see them, and we'll go about our way like that. I need a boat. Yeah. Other questions. Other questions. Um, with regards to the male gender. Do you have a boyfriend? No. Um, we we've been talking about something along those lines in these past few episodes. A little bit of a transitionary period in that respect. Slightly more single than I've been in the past few years, and to be perfectly honest, not particularly ready for that to change. Got a desert loading in, and it's quite jumpy. Not particularly ready for that to change. Give me this. No? How about now? Now you will. Okay. Um, because still healing. Um, Still, unfortunately, feelings. Lots of feels in that respect. Certain feels that are going to be there forever, and then other feels that really need to go away for me to be able to move on. Um, and and I mean, one of the struggles with this kind of thing is, I need to move on before I can want to move on. You know, that was just had to think about that one as it was coming out of my mouth. But yeah, so no boyfriend. Someone else asked, what kind of guys do you go for? I don't really set into stone that it's like this guy, like you need to be interested in this, and this. No, I just more look at the personality, and if we get along, we get along. Me and X Face there, we were different in a lot of ways, and for a long time it worked. It stopped working, obviously, but I don't think that was because we had differences. It was just more along the lines of one of us stopping with the compromises. But that's enough of that. And yeah, so I mean, I'm really more focused on the person, uh, and then go from there. Uh, you know, I mean, I guess I'd put limits. Like if you're an axe murderer, I probably wouldn't work. Probably wouldn't work. Am I going the wrong way? There's a part of me that's wondering if I am actually heading back towards spawn. Like I did not map out in my mind, and you know what? I did not even write down the coordinates of where our little hobble is. Huh. That's hmm. We may have a little bit of an adventure. Um we may have to have a new home, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. I do not know where the coordinates of that is. That's interesting. Okay. That's going to be an adventure in and of itself. But yeah, so what kind of guys do you go for? The male kind, pretty much, you know. Um, Apart from that, couple other questions. Yeah, certainly, I really need to do a better job of like writing down usernames and going off of the usernames. Um, but lots of interest in the giant death robot. Um, we weren't gonna be able to see it in the Civilization playthrough that we just went through, um, because I won that game in the 1800s. I had just gotten the First World War infantry. We didn't even see World War II infantry or modern infantry or anything like that. So I won that game pretty early on, in relation to everything. I think what I'm going to do, I'm not going to play another Civilization game immediately. But when I do, what I'm going to do is I'm actually, just for shits and giggles to see how it pans out. Whoop, a little bit of lag. We'll play on the hardest difficulty. We'll go all the way up to deity, and I will probably get my ass handed to me early and often. So we'll see. That game's going to be more about us surviving and being somewhat influential in the world stage. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Rather than us, dominating and, expanding our Egyptian empire all over the world. But yeah, I'm glad that there was a lot of positive feedback on that series. So I'm happy about that. This coming week, there's probably going to be a little bit fewer in the way of episodes. I'm not going to guarantee a video every day like we've been experiencing, just because the Civilization series has ended, and Minecraft is a little bit more difficult to film for because there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. A lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to make interesting footage and things like that. And I mean, also, I need things to talk about, right? So the more questions that I get, the more things I have to talk about, the more material I have for episodes, the more episodes you'll see. But yeah, I'll probably have a few things to talk about after hockey tonight. We are playing a team that we've had some altercations with this season, so it's gonna be interesting. Beer league, and some people take it a little bit too seriously, and then, well, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's that, but just some people, when you're playing a game without refs, and you hack someone, like you slash them with your stick, and you just don't say sorry or anything, you just skate away, it gets on the other team's nerves. It gets certainly on my team's nerves. And then when every single play you do the same thing, yeah, it leads to troubles. And we've got an issue with a couple of guys on the team we're playing tonight that do that. Very active sticks and very unapologetic mouths to go along with the active sticks. So there could very well be things to talk about, and in which case it'll be funny if I can use my my screechy skates as a weapon against them. You know what I mean? Just whenever they hack, I'll just rub it along the ice and make their ears bleed. But yeah. Other questions. Do I play games other than on PC, like consoles, etc.? A little bit of lag. Yes, I've always been a PlayStation guy. I think I've talked about it in a past video, maybe way back in the history vault, in the banks, in the shut up, Scott. That is night enough. Come on, there we go. I've talked about how the only reason I was a Devils fan in my youth was because of the PlayStation 1, and more specifically NHL 98, EA Sports. When I was very young, so NHL 98, so that would make me like 5, 6, 7, around that age. I played the crap out of that game, and I always chose the team. Whoop, little bit of lag. I always chose the team. Yep, still lag. That had the goalie stats maxed out. And that team happened to be the New Jersey Devils. And so eventually, I was like, who's this guy with his goalie stats maxed out on this game? And turns out that's Martin Brodeur. So begun my fandom of Martin Brodeur, and so began my following of the New Jersey Devils, and the rest is history. Now I'm a Carlson and a Turris fan on the Ottawa Senators for very different reasons than my young self was a Brodeur fan. But yeah, so where was I? Consoles. And so that translated into, my brother had the PlayStation 1, so I played it. PlayStation 2, so I played it. And then PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, the 4 is really just collecting dust at the moment, but once more games come out that I'm excited for, whoop, whoop, lagga, 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 lagga. Then we're actually probably going to see PlayStation 4 on this channel. I need to get some form of capture card for it, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And once I do, I want to be bringing a couple of games from the PlayStation 4 for you. Almost died. But yeah, so that's something to look forward to. As far as console games go, do I have like favorite console games? I cannot speak enough about The Last of Us on the PlayStation 3. If you have a PlayStation 3 and you haven't played The Last of Us, fix that. It's phenomenal. That is the best blend of action and story that I've ever played. It's just so masterfully written. The visuals are phenomenal. It's and the action and the gameplay is a huge amount of fun. It's really hard to put that game down. It's a really good game. It's actually beating Grand Theft Auto 5. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. It's actually beating Grand Theft Auto 5 in a large number of categories at like video game awards, like the DICE awards and things like that. And there's a reason. The Last of It, how amazing Grand Theft Auto 5 was. Don't get me wrong, but The Last of Us is one of, if not the greatest game of that generation of consoles. As far as my favorite game story-wise is concerned, because that was the greatest game all around, The Last of Us, but the greatest story game, for me personally, The Walking Dead Season 1. I have never cried so hard at a video game before that. Just wow. The choices, like that's much more of a choose your own adventure type of deal. There's a lot more choice involved. The Last of Us, while it's an amazing story, you don't have choice. It's a linear story. The Walking Dead, it's all about choices you make. Who you befriend, what you say to people at certain points, the decisions you make, who lives, who dies, like who's with you towards the end of the game is entirely dependent on the choices you've made, and it's phenomenal. You need to, if you play that one's available for the PC. Probably doesn't have very high system requirements for it. And of course it's available for like all the consoles. But little bit of lag there. Its story is amazing. It's amazing. You have to treat it like it's a television show. Because it's a lot of talking, and you choose what your character says and things like that. And but it's phenomenal. Like I said, never cried so hard at a video game before. Actually, that's probably, I think the only thing that's made me cry as much as that has been the Green Mile. Other than things in my life and things like that. But I'm talking about entertainment purposes. Entertainment tears. It's The Walking Dead Season 1 and Green Mile, basically. So that was a phenomenal game too. Tabletop games. Also brought up tabletop games. Like board games. I love board games. Board games are some of my favorite things. I really need to find a group of friends that love board games as much as I do. Because I will play them night in, night out. They're amazing. Risk, Settlers of Catan, Monopoly, all of that stuff. I love it. I'm always bugging my family to play things, and whatnot over like Christmas and things like that. When everybody's all together, I'm like, come on, let's play this, let's play that, and then they're like, no, you always win. That's basically how the conversation goes. I actually recently got a Game of Thrones board game, which wow, is it complicated? That's probably the most complicated game I've ever had to teach myself. But really fun, really fun. That show is a really good show. The best show, the best show out there right now is House of Cards, though. Whoop, we got a desert temple. If you have Netflix and you haven't seen House of Cards, or if you don't have Netflix, fix that specifically for House of Cards. Hell, just get your 1 month free trial at Netflix, and then back out for all I care. Watch all of season 1 and 2, and then back out of your Netflix. It's worth it for House of Cards. Let me tell you, I enjoy that more than I enjoyed Breaking Bad, and that's saying something because I never thought that would happen. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Desert temples are interesting because they're booby trapped, but they all have the same booby trap. So it's not horribly dangerous. As you can see, you got 4 chests down there, and then under that pressure plate is a shit ton of TNT. So as long as I don't step on the pressure plate, we're okay. I'm just gonna go down there and break the pressure plate. Pleasure plate. Yeah. So let's do that. I was really hoping I'd find a horse. Let's break that, and as you can see, there's a whole bunch of TNT under here, which will also break, because TNT needs redstone power in order to activate. Now it can't activate. Wahahaha. What's the goodies we got? We got a whole bunch of bones. Cool. Saddle. Gold, iron, rotten flesh we really don't need. What can I give there? Iron, gold, bones. Gold, iron. Well, this would have been great if it was UHC or something, where all the gold. But yeah, desert temples. There you go. I think, though, that might be about it for where the hell did we come from? I got no idea. Over here. Okay. I think that might be about it for today's episode, though. So, yeah. I'm trying to think about what I mentioned. So, yeah, the more questions I get, the more footage you'll see, really. The more things I have to talk about, the more footage you'll see, because all we got left is this talkie series at the moment. But once I do get my new computer, that'll change, and we'll start to see more and more series come out, school willing, because I do have a midterm that I'm going to start studying for as soon as I'm done recording and rendering this. So without further ado, I will see you guys next time.